guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness and Magnificent Monday. I hope it's as beautiful where you live as it is here. Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, this is a little on the late side. It's about 12 o'clock. No big deal. But I've had a very full morning. I've taught a little bit. I have played. Spent a couple hours on the bike, blah, blah, blah. So let's get to it. You saw the thumbnail. What happens when the chops are beat up? It happens. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the trumpet that beat him up. Things you got to think about. Okay, let's get to it and see what we got. Anyway, it's not like my chops are beat up today. After about an hour playing, ginormous double C's and a little tartini to throw in. Anyway, this came about, and I have addressed this before. And that is when the chops literally get cut. They get bruised. They get, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I have a couple stories before we even get to what you should do. Pretty simple what you should do. Don't play. We'll get to that. As you know, if you saw the video that I did on my cousin Eileen Farrell, she knew Louis Armstrong very well and actually helped him out a lot with subbing and whatnot in later years of his life. But she did play with him, not necessarily subbing for him, but played with him numerous times. And the first time that she ever played with him, they did a sound check in the afternoon, and she says, "What the heck? He could not play." I mean, you've seen those Mangled chops, old Satchmo. They're legendary. It's almost like, it's supposed to be a badge of honor or something. That's the worst thing that could probably happen. Now, it happened earlier in life. Blisters and playing on bad mouthpieces and had to keep the whole 9 yards. That's not the point. He could not play. She's scared to death. I mean, she's playing with this legendary guy, and he can't play. It was a pretty prestigious gig. Needless to say, Louis didn't take, clubs out in Hoboken. He said, "What the heck? Don't worry about it. He'll be fine." And sure enough, by the time the gig came around, he was fine. But it took him so long to even make a sound, much less play like Louis. Okay? The other one just happened recently. One of my students, it happened last week, one of my students, an older gentleman, woke up. He said, this happened before, but he woke up and it turned out that he literally bit his lip in his sleep, right at the tip. He tried to play a couple notes, wasn't happening. I said, you know what? Told him what to do, which I'm going to tell you, and put the horn away until we do it again. Also, when I was younger and I first started with Jerry, the pedal tones were huge. The pedal tones were huge. And we were using a lot of air back then, a lot of air. And I used to really overblow the pedal tones. And the lip was flapping so much, a lot of times it would get cut in the mouthpiece. I literally have scab there. So it does happen. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be trumpet. I've told you before. Guys, I have trouble with the sun. And I've had sunburned lips before and just killed myself. I've also lived in some very, very cold and dry climates on the flip side, and chapped lips. Okay? Now, Here's the deal. If indeed you cut shaving all the time, I'm slicing myself shaving. If indeed the vibrating surface is cut and any part of what you're putting your mouthpiece on hurts, do not play. If at all possible, do not play. Now, some of you have to play, okay? And I'll get to that in a second. But if you don't have to, don't sweat it. Spit buzz like crazy. This is what I told my student to do. Just spit buzz. That is not going to be a problem. I guarantee you that will not be a problem. You put a little pressure to that, what I just did, all of a sudden it starts to sting. Again, we're going back to physiology here. Whenever you have a pulled muscle, whenever you have anything that literally hurts, the body goes out of its way to compensate it. It doesn't want to hurt. You don't want to feel pain. So when you have even a little slice, it could be chapped lips, and you get a little slice there. It starts to sting. The body will the lips will automatically, whether you want to or not, will automatically try to pull away from the sting. That's stretching. That's stretching. It took me years to figure this out. Again, I was such a maniacal practicer. Oh my God, I have a job Friday, right? Guys, put it down. The worst thing you can do as a trumpet player is play incorrectly. It's the worst thing you can do, okay? If that sting, if it hurts, don't play. That's a rule of athletics and everything. If your elbow hurts, don't pitch. If your leg hurts, don't run. Don't try to push through it. Don't try to push through it. Okay? If it's, you cut yourself shaving over here or something and it's no big deal, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Remember, outside of that, it's not part of the equation, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Now, here's if you have to play. Okay, if you have to play that night, and a lot depends on what sort of a gig it is. If you can sub it out, if you can get somebody to do it for you, do it. If you just need the money, if you have to play that gig, it's important, you're the only one, blah, blah, blah. All right? Here's your spit buzz. Spit buzz all day long. Okay? Drink a lot of water. If it's dry skin or something, the water will heal. Okay? Okay? Drink a lot of water. We're like 80% water anyway. You should be drinking water anyway. Spit buzz like crazy. Unless it hurts, it probably won't. I don't think it will. Okay? And then throughout the day, you're spit buzzing. Play a little bit and see how it goes. And again, if your top note is a high C that you have to play that night, don't go above a high C. Just pop it once, know that you've got it, and then play in the ruler runs. And I'm talking just really noodling around. Okay? Now, with this, it should bring the chops back. So before you're leaving for the gig, whatever the gig may be, play the lick that you got, the big lick, at the volume and see how it feels. It should be all right. You shouldn't have to stress. It should be all right. Okay? If it's not, the only thing that I can think of at this point is to play less. You should cut back on the air anyway, you know that. But cut back on the volume. And if that makes it easier to play, if you have a sound man, just tell him, look, I got a little cut here. Be careful. I'm telling you, I'm going to be playing soft tonight and crank it up. Okay? If it's a big band, hog the microphone and just play soft. That's okay. It works all the time. It works for great players. Works for great players. Okay? So here we go. If at all possible, do not play. Okay? Now, if the day later, it doesn't sting anymore, but it's still stiff, that's all right. You know what to do to get rid of the stiffness. That's all right. But if it stings, remember, the body will do everything it can subconsciously, knee-jerk reaction, to pull away from the pain. That's with any other part of the body. So if it's stinging, do not play unless you have to. And if you have to, play as little as you can with the mouthpiece until you actually have to. And spit buzz the rest of the day. The spit buzzing, you might want to do that anyway, guys. The spit buzzing is that important. Just spend the bulk of the day spit buzzing. I mean, really. Okay? So that's that. So anyway, anybody have any other comments? Give them down below, and we'll talk again. Anyway, Monday, we'll see you again tomorrow. And eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power.